Que papel a senhora vê para o Estado?
Let me just say one thing. Your state does obviously have the task of getting an efficient network of roads. Obviously, that is the part of the duty of the state, to get the basic infrastructure, although that doesn't stop you from having some roads which are toll roads, which would not otherwise be built. The task of government. Government has a very big task to do without getting into running industry. Government has to keep the finances of the country sound. That's government's prime job. Only government can do that. It should be able to get inflation down and keep it down, because that is a matter of your money supply and of keeping the money supply such that it's enough to finance your production and to finance a certain amount of growth. If you get it wrong, you in Brazil knows what happens. So it does that. It should keep public expenditure under control. Everyone knows what that means. You have to keep your expenditure as a family within your income, as a business usually within your income. So why shouldn't governments also operate the same way? And if you do, it has to keep your taxation such that there's incentive for everyone working at every level to work harder, knowing that the level of tax they pay is reasonable and the lion's share of it comes to them to look after their families and their future. That is the whole of the financial aspect. And of course it has to decide the reliefs for investment and so on, and the reliefs for savings. Second thing, only government can see that the nation is properly defended. That is government's duty. So the finances, the defense. Thirdly, you must see that there is an adequate and proper education system. That is how the ordinary person pulls themselves up, by having the chance of a good education, regardless of their background. Fortunately, the good Lord scattered talent about quite indiscriminately, and if a person does not have a chance to develop that, then we're not really doing the best by our young people. Now, those are three things. Fourthly, of course, you must have a basic safety net for people who just can't find a job in our sophisticated economy. And fifthly, and I should have perhaps put it much earlier, much higher up, you must have internal order through a system of justice. Now, you can't have freedom without law. That means you have to have a properly equipped police force. It means you have to have independent courts of law and a clear framework of law which your parliament must make after full and open discussion so that the people know. So the framework of law, and there's a framework of regulations within which industry must operate, which includes the environment, is the task of government. Well, that's pretty big. All the finance, the law, the defense, the education, the safety net. Now, if government did that properly, you need a strong government to do that properly. It wouldn't have time to get into things it ought not to be in.